Welcome to SFA All Access. I'm Eric Kinnear-Mesa, and today we will be taking a look at an organization that celebrates some of our furry and four-legged heroes. So sit, stay, and get ready for an episode that's off the leash. Today, I'm here with Dara Parrott, an advisor for Little Angels Service Dogs. Their student training association here at SFA provides trained assistance dogs to students living with disabilities. Their main goal is to give the gift of independence to people, regardless of their situation, and to change lives, one dog at a time. Dara, thank you for being here so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this, and I'm really excited for you to introduce your friend.
For sure. This is Ziggy. Ziggy, stand. Good boy. Good boy.
This is
He
Ziggy.
is about 4 years old. He's an English cream golden retriever, and he is on the path. He's got some emotions. He is on the path to becoming a certified service dog.
How long does it usually take to become, for a dog, let's say from when it starts its training, to become a service dog?
Absolutely, great question. Typically, every dog is different. Typically, it'll take about 2 years, give or take. And that is if you're able to start from birth, which is what we do in our breeding program. So after puppies are born, we have this whole neurological process that we go through. And stimulating them in different ways. So we will take a week-old puppy and put it on a cold cloth, and that gets that neurological stimulus going. But on average, 2 years. Most of that is basic obedience, reinforced in several different areas. So you can have a dog, which I'm sure a lot of people do have dogs. They act really well at home. They know all of their commands. They can sit, down, stay, shake. But if you take that same dog and put it into Walmart, chances are the dog is going to be a little overwhelmed, as most people would be in Walmart, and they're not going to focus on you. So a lot of that is getting their focus and reinforcement of basic obedience in several different areas and socializing them. Once you do that, and like I said, that's the majority of the 2 years, you can teach the advanced tasks, so like alerting, push, pull, anything like that in about a month.
Month?
Yeah.
Could you describe your role in your organization?
So my main role is trainer. I also handle handler training, so I deal one-on-one with the recipients, and I train them how to handle the dog that they are getting. So mainly trainer. I do some book work every now and then, but right now you'll see me around town, occasionally at Walmart, mostly the feed stores, and then of course a lot of places on campus.
How often do y'all train the dogs? Do you train them around campus, perhaps outside, frequently?
So with the student organization, throughout the school year, we just had our last meeting before summer. But we meet once a week at different places on campus, and we spend about an hour, hour and a half on a training outing with the dogs we're handling. In my personal work life, I am training every day, and it can be on campus or around town. So.
Wow. What sorts of trainings do y'all do outside?
So again, a lot of it is just socialization and basic obedience, but the disabilities that we train for, and I'm going to use my fingers because I tend to forget them. We do seizure alert, diabetic alert, hearing assistance, autism assistance, mobility assistance, and psychiatric assistance.
Wow. That's a few.
It is.
I believe we have a good example of some of the training that your service dogs will do outside
For
and
sure.
some footage
Let's
right
check
here.
it out.
So let's get into it.
I first got started with this organization because my RA Jax was like, hey, I'm gonna go train service dogs. Do you wanna come? I was like, yes. Service dogs what? Like, I did not know that was a club on campus.
So you just have to try them.
Ziggy has presented his challenges the first time I met him. Now the second time I've trained him, he is much more focused on me. He's like, okay, cool, I've met you before. The different drills that we do is heel, which heel is the dog follows you as you walk. Then we have watch me, which is the dog watches you. And then sit and stay.
Our regular outing can we just
I hope more students come join our organization and help train these life-saving dogs. And honestly, I think any student would have fun in this org regardless of your dog's experience.
have another thing. I love a good deep.
That was very lovely footage. I like the part where the service dog picked up the leash to give to the owner. That's awesome.
Yes, he can pick up his leash, he knows his vest, and he knows get it. So anything, most of the time, anything I point at and say get it, he will go and retrieve that. That's very useful for mobility assistance. And it's also nice, you have a lot going on when you have a service dog, and it's just a lot to think about. It's kind of like getting a toddler ready to leave the house. But in this case, the toddler can help you gather all of its belongings, so you don't have to look for him around the house.
He's a good enough retriever to be golden?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry, that was lame.
It was perfect. I loved it.
I wanted to know, are there any specifics when it comes to trainers, dogs, how you pair them?
Yes, and that is a big part of our placement and matching process. We have to basically dive into these people's lives and learn everything we can about them, because not every dog works for every person and every living situation. So we have a whole list for our recipients and the individual dogs and what they do well with, what they don't do well with. With the recipients, sometimes it's personal preference. So not only let's say we have someone that needs a seizure alert and response dog, but then it has to be a dog that does really well with young children, because they might have multiple kids in the home. They might have several pets. They might live in colder weather. They might spend a lot of time at the beach. We have to have a dog that matches every one of those criteria in order to match. So it's a very thorough and in-depth process that we go through.
Wow. There's so much that goes into
It's
this.
a lot. It is a lot.
There's a lot of responsibilities, I assume, as
Yes.
well, that come to preparation for getting a service dog.
Yes.
But also thoughts behind people already having presumptions about service dogs. Are there any that you want to address, perhaps, that maybe aren't true? Or just something, whatever you want to talk about?
I wouldn't say there's too many. I would say the most that I see and the most the most asked question I get is it a seeing eye dog? Because so many people, seeing eye dogs have been around and people have been training them since the early 1900s. They have been around a lot longer than all of these new ways we've learned how to use service dogs. So just the presumption that service dogs are only for guide dogs. You have, like I said, you have seizure alert, diabetic alert, autism assistance, and all of these paths that a dog can help you with, but people just don't know about them.
I was wondering about that. How can people that don't have a service dog accommodate people that do? Or can you think of situations specifically where people can make the right choice?
One that I see a lot is taking your pets out into public where they're not allowed to be. We see that a lot. Pets will be in Walmart, restaurants, and people might claim that they're a service dog when they're not, and that's really disruptive to especially training a service dog. When you're in the training process and you lose your dog's attention, it could be 15-20 minutes before you fully get their focus back, which really puts kind of a halt on the training process. At a time, we only have a dog out training about an hour at a time because that's all that they can stand in their little brains. So when you have a distraction like a dog growling or barking where a dog's not supposed to be, it really disturbs the training process. So that would be the one thing that I would say as far as other people around service dogs. Just be mindful of where you can take your pets, and please don't take them into places where pets aren't allowed.
That's true. That is a good thing to keep in mind, and I'm glad that you could share that with people. Let's see. There's so much to ask.
There is a lot.
We don't have forever, unfortunately. I would like to ask, do you have any socials that you want to share with us?
Yes. So our main organization is Little Angels Service Dogs. You can look us up on all social media platforms. But for our student organization, it is SFA Student Trainer Association. And we're on Instagram. You can keep up with our training outings. If you just want to come hang out or watch, we'll post on there so you'll know where we'll be at.
Beautiful. Well, I'd like to thank you for being here, and thank you for
Absolutely. I
bringing
appreciate
Ziggy.
it.
And thank you for joining us today on this episode of SFA All Access. If you want to find more fun and exciting Jack TV content, you can find us on YouTube at Jack TV SFA. See you next time. Axum.
I know that one.